Look, here's the most important thing to remember. The rest of the world isn't waiting. Isn't waiting. China isn't waiting. They're building 5G, mastering AI. They're rewriting the rules of the internet. They're moving into areas that should not be abandoned by us. The rest of the world hasn't given up on the Paris Climate Accord. They're pushing it. They know it's essential to human existence. Folks, the greatest challenges we face in the future will be over technology, intellectual property, clean energy, a warming planet. There's not a single thing that building a wall or imposing another tariff can address on any of these issues. Well, we need a 21st century strategy for America. But every tool that Donald Trump uses is out of the past. Folks, we have to get focused on the future. It's the only way we're going to invest in an educational system our people need to succeed in the 21st century. Jill always says, she's a community college professor, she always says, any country that out-educates us will out-compete us. That's just a natural fact. And folks, that success will come when we generate free community colleges, invest in job training and apprenticeship, continue education, allowing people to fill jobs in the future, a stronger commitment to pre-K, and so much more. Folks, we know it works. We know what we have to do. So let's stop fighting and start fixing. Look, y'all, I need you. I need you.
Look at that crowd.
We all know the Affordable Care Act was a historic achievement. 20 million Americans got coverage. Over 100 million people with pre-existing conditions can no longer be denied coverage. That's amazing. It restored dignity for the parents who couldn't afford to take care of their children's health care. And now we need to go to the next step. We shouldn't start over, and we surely shouldn't tear it down. To me, giving every American, the right to choose a public option like Medicare is the best way to get everybody covered. If they choose. Folks, focusing on the future is the only way we're going to be able to build a new green infrastructure. Not only new and safer roads and bridges, but greener highways, ports, and also our airports. We can make them greener and more rational. We can do a lot. Water systems, where no one in this country has to drink poison water. Oh, and there's no question we need a new electric grid that protects this nation from cyber attack, that is able to transmit solar and wind energy across those same lines. Folks, we know what we have to do. That's why I'm running. As I said, let's stop fighting and start fixing. And we can only do it together. Folks, it's the only way we're going to deal with the existential crisis posed by climate change. There's not much time left. We need a clean energy revolution. We need it now. We have to start now. We have to move on what we've already built. And by the way, we have to stop the thinking that clean energy and job creation don't go together. They do. They do. We need to set the most aggressive goals possible. But folks, we have to work together to get it done. Look, we're never going to convince the climate deniers or those special interests. But even now, some of those special interests, the traditional polluters, are realizing gas and oil industry, automobile manufacturers. Guess what? They're saying on television the other day, Mr. President, you got to do something about global warming. You know, we're oil industry. Because they're going to be underwater. Not a joke. Not a joke. The automobile industry, they agreed when Barack and I came along and said, we're going to double the CAFE standard. They thought it was a good idea. They didn't even agree with the president when he rolled it back. What in God, who's he trying to please? Folks, we need a president who's willing to lead, who will insist on dramatic change for the sake of our children. Folks, let me tell you something. The single most important thing we have to accomplish to get this done, the single most important thing we have to accomplish is defeat Donald Trump. As long as Donald Trump's in the White House, none of these things, these critical things, are going to get done. So if you want to know what the first and most important plank in my climate proposal is, beat Trump. Beat Trump. Beat Trump. And there's one thing we need to remember. One thing I just discussed. From everything I just discussed, from education to infrastructure to healthcare to climate, there's an overwhelming agreement among the American people. What should be done? That's true, he doesn't. But people are not divided. It's our politics that's divided. And that gap, that's causing the failure to act. It's giving rise to the worst elements in our society. People coming out from under the rocks, out of fields, carrying torches. Folks, if you'd asked me a few years ago, if our democracy was at stake, I would have smiled and laughed a little bit. But no more. No more. The threat to this nation, to our democracy, is real. It's clear and it's present. You've watched the president now for 3 years. Look at what he's doing. Instilling fear. I mean, not joking. Instilling fear. Sowing division. Stroking racial division. Undercutting every institution that was designed to check the abuse of power by the president or anyone else. All this for what reason? All this in order to solidify his base and expand his power. Think about it. Now really, think about this. There's relentless attacks on the free press, fake news, the enemy of the people. They're nothing to be dismissed. Tyrants and dictators all over the world are using the same language to stifle dissent and solidify their own power in their country. His attack on the independence of courts, saying you cannot trust the judge because of his Mexican ancestry. No, by the way, if I made this speech here 10 years ago, you'd laugh at me. You'd say, that's not going to happen. That can't be America. That can't be an American president, Democrat or Republican. Folks, his attack on the co-equal branch of government, the Congress, blocking their constitutional responsibility to legitimately engage in oversight, placing him above the law. And by the way, without a whimper from the Republicans in Congress who know better. They know better. They know better. Folks, these things are corrosive. They threaten the core values of this nation. They undermine, not kidding, they undermine our standing around the world. Everything that has made America, America is at risk. Let me ask you, are we a nation that believes there's a moral equivalence between white supremacists, neo-Nazis, the Ku Klux Klan, and those with the courage to stand against them? No, we don't. But Trump does. Trump said there's a moral equivalence. Are we a nation that believes ripping children from the arms of their parents at the border? No, we don't. But Trump does. Are we a nation that embraces dictators and tyrants like Putin and Kim Jong-un? We don't, but Trump does. Look, every day we're reminded about this in this election about we have to remember who we are, what we stand for, what we believe. And every day we're reminded there's nothing guaranteed about our democracy. We have to fight for it. We have to defend it. We have to earn it. We have to earn it. As we stand here today, we're only 140 miles from Gettysburg, perhaps the most famous symbol in our nation's history of the cost of division. In his Gettysburg address, Lincoln didn't only honor the bravery of those who lost their lives at Gettysburg. He had a message for the living. He said, it is for us to be dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that a government of, by, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Folks, that wasn't just a challenge from Lincoln to those present that day in Gettysburg. It was a challenge he handed down to every generation of Americans to follow. Now that challenge has been handed to us, and it's the test above all others that future generations of America will measure us by. Will we be the ones to let the government of, by, and for the people perish from the face of the earth? Will we let that happen? Dare we let that happen? Absolutely not. We will not. I will not. You will not. The promise of this nation, our standing as the beacon of hope in the world, will not be extinguished on my watch or yours. And here's the amazing thing about this moment in history. On the one hand, we're facing the biggest threat any of us of this gathered in this field, in this beautiful place, any of us have faced in our entire lifetimes. But on the other hand, we've never had a future that's more promising. I've said it many times. I'm more optimistic about America's future today than when I got elected, not young enough to be sworn in as a United States Senator at age 29. Here's why. Folks, we are better positioned than any nation in the world to lead the 21st century. And as I travel the world and met with most of the world's leaders, they know it. Without us, they can't lead. Our workers are 3 times as productive as workers in Asia. That's a fact. Number one, we have the biggest economy in the world. We have the strongest military in the history of the world. We have the most innovative entrepreneurs. We're virtually energy independent. We have more great research universities in this city, this state, this country than all the world combined. That's a fact. No other nation can match us if we step up. If we lead by the power of our example, not by the example of our power. The only thing that can tear America apart is America itself, and we cannot let that happen. Everybody knows who Donald Trump is. Even his supporters know who he is. But I have to let you know, here's the deal. We have to let them know who we are, what we stand for. We choose hope over fear, truth over lies, and yes, unity over division. So folks, it's time for us to lift our heads up, open our hearts, remember who we are. We are the United States of America. And I mean this. There's not a single thing we cannot do if we do it together.
Right on.
God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
That was a rousing meat and potatoes speech by former Vice President and now 2020 presidential candidate Joe Biden in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, chosen by this Delawarean. And that ends this. Please subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and for more.